Perfect. So it might ask you to approve the recording.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll start with a little introduction for myself, for anybody here that may not know me or who is viewing later on. My name is Kimberly, and I am a small business owner here in Kingston, and I own a tiny agency called Right Whale for content marketing. And I also do a lot of volunteer work and community work in Kingston. I'm here because I decided I'm holding this event as part of a Dress for Success Worldwide CAP project, a community action project where I had to choose a subject of an event and hold something that the community needed, some sort of goal, and try and solve it in any way that I can, even my own small way with the 6 people here. So yeah, so it's called Security in a Virtual World. So I'm going to start just kind of going over just a little bit about why we all are here. I'm going to share my screen and bring up my slides, which hopefully will work. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yay. Things are
Good.
going well so far. Just got to move all your faces out of the way so I can click the present button. Perfect. So security in a virtual world, how to protect your personal information from online frauds and scams. So we're here because it's more convenient than ever to use our smartphones and devices to instantly do our online shopping, pay our rent and other bills, and more. It's important for anyone using the internet who is storing personal information on the internet to take every precaution they can to keep it safe. Everyone moved online to work and do activities remotely due to COVID-19 in the past year. So not only do we spend more time online, but so are the scammers who are hunting us down. Between March 6, 2020 and June 30th, 2021, Canadian reports of COVID-19 fraud were about 24,000 people. And these were just reports. We can tell when someone's a scammer or someone is out to get us in real life because we can usually correlate them with wearing hooded figures with masks and some dark figure. You can usually tell when they're out to get you when you're meeting them in person. But when you're online, sometimes that mask is a lot harder to tell. So yeah, I'm hoping that this event can be more of a discussion-oriented, positive place to maybe share stories and just discuss how we can prevent frauds for ourselves in the future, as well as how we can share with those around us to protect them as well. So the key takeaways I'm hoping that we can discuss is common online scams in Canada and what you need to know to prevent them, and how we can use technology to enhance our quality of life while remaining safe online.
Good.
Common online scams in Canada. I'm going to minimize everybody's faces. There we go. So phishing is definitely the #1 scam, and I'll go over that soon for anybody who isn't aware of what that is. We have shopping scams, social media fraud, which is a huge one right now, fake debt scams,
Dating and romance scams.
dating and romance scams, and then the whole thing about
Just said we're not vulnerable to that.
oh, you don't know. Maybe. And then Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I'm kind of going to go over a little bit of each one, and then we can keep the discussion going from there. So phishing scams. This is an actual email that I had in my inbox that I thought would be great to share because it's saying it's coming from Dyson Vacuum. But you can see there in the left-hand corner that it says info at a bunch of random numbers. So that's one red flag right there. And then it's saying congratulations.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's saying congratulations, you've been selected to take part in this survey. It only takes a minute and you get a fantastic prize, a new Dyson version 11. It really wants you to click this button, but you can really tell that there's a lot of red flags here, right? I know I had seen a couple errors in it when I was looking at it the last time. Every day we randomly select 10 users to give them the chance to win great prizes. Today's price is a new Dyson version 11. So they're not saying prize.
Oh,
That's what I
price.
usually find. They have
Spelling errors.
Spelling errors, yeah.
Yeah,
Or like
exactly.
grammar errors, yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely tell this one. This one's an easy one to tell that it's fake. There's no pictures of the Dyson anywhere, and never ever click these links. Another one saying it's from bestbuy.com. It's not even the Best Buy logo. So this is another email that I got.
I've had them with the proper logo, not for Best Buy.
Oh, there are some that definitely have the real logo, and that it's
Yeah.
really, it's a lot harder for them, for you to figure it out, but there's still some common places where you can see the errors and what to look out for. And I think I have one of them. I might
But
not.
that one, Kimberly, has it's got your last name in it, Miss
Right.
Folk.
But it took my email. This is the email that it sent it to. So if it figured out a way to put that in there, but you can see where it says customer, misskfalk@gmail.com. And then the email is Miss K Falk. So they have them in the wrong
Get
spot.
glasses too.
It won't help. We're just saying we can't quite read it up there in the top in the black because it's too small for our eyes.
Oh, up
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Cynthia's agreeing.
okay. Sorry. I thought I had made it as big as I could.
Oh, you probably did. It's just us. Don't worry.
Okay. But here again, the email is a bunch of letters. If you can't see it, it's a bunch
Yeah.
of letters.
Yeah,
and-
that I can see. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So these are phishing scams. So they're the most popular type of scam. I'm going the wrong way somehow. Criminals are pretending to be recognizable organizations or brands in a hope of fooling you into believing them and giving over your financial or account information. It's not just email either. It can be by text or over the phone. Usually if it's in your junk folder, don't touch it. There's a reason why it's there. Google, etc., have spent lots of money finding these scammers, and they have tools for triggering them into your spam folder. It's still possible, however, for these emails to find a way into your general account. So this is one that would probably find a way into your general account because they've worked a little harder to make it seem more legit. So it says Netflix. It says we're sorry to say goodbye, and it's trying to talk you into thinking that your membership's been canceled. So if you have Netflix and you do pay for it through iTunes, it could be possible that you would decide to restart your membership.
That's one that could suck you in. I find that one is
Sure
quite
could.
believable.
Right.
So in the event that something like this would happen, the steps that you would take are definitely to not open any of the links and instead go to Netflix yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from your computer, from your phone, or wherever you watch Netflix, and make sure that you're well, first check and see if it's working, because if it's working, that means your membership hasn't been canceled. And yeah, so anything like this, just I remember having one that was through Outlook email, and I had received it asking me to sign into Outlook to view a document that someone had sent me. So I went and tried to sign into Outlook, and I actually was fooled because it wasn't Outlook. It was a scammer that was trying to get my name and password.
Wow.
So I had to go through this entire process of changing my password everywhere to try and prevent, because they would then use your password and try and use it everywhere else, because so many people use the same password across multiple platforms. So if your password is vulnerable or stolen in one application, a scammer can just use it across almost any other app.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have a question, Kimberly. What if I were to click any of these buttons in the emails, so restart membership or, sign up, what would I see? What
So a
would
lot
they
of
be asking for?
Definitely. So a lot of the times, if you're using a great browser, it'll flag it automatically, and you'll see a screen that says, we don't believe that this is a real website and that your information may be vulnerable if you decide to keep going. So if that ever pops up on your screen, I would never trust it. I would go back and try and find another link or another way in. When I had the problem with Outlook, it actually looked like the login screen. Everything looked like the login screen. Even the URL, the URL website in the top corner looked like Outlook. I think there was one letter off, like there was an extra O that I just kind of scanned over without thinking, and that's what made me try to sign in. And then from there, it just kind of keeps telling you that your password's wrong, but in fact, it's just stealing that information from you.
Okay.
Wow,
Oh, that's what it'll do. Mm.
Mm.
wow.
So even if it looks like it's not doing anything, I would still, and if you figure out that it's a scam, I would still go and change your passwords just to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you know you've been scammed?
you don't really unless you figure it out, right? Because a lot of the times when I get into the social media scams later, you don't you don't realize that your password's been stolen and that people are messaging your friends. You don't really realize
Oh,
until
right.
afterwards.
Oh, that's what they do.
Yeah, and then your friends, I've got weird emails sometimes from people that I know, and
Mhm.
they start off like just so inconsistent with what the person would say.
Right.
Definitely, and those are triggers that you can look out for when you're receiving a link or something from somebody, even via email. If it looks like it's not from them, or there's a possibility that it's not from them, like I would use your best judgment. And if it doesn't feel right, then message them or call them through another channel and ask them if they sent you that email or that text or
Right.
that message on Facebook before you click any of the links.
Does somebody have a baby?
I know,
Sorry.
I'm hearing it too, in a man's voice.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I'm hearing a man's
That's
voice
okay.
and
I
a
mean,
baby
I
too.
didn't, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know how to turn my mic off. So
Oh, that's my mom. I
Oh,
can
don't
mute
worry.
you.
My mom was like,
Don't worry, I was just thinking maybe I had something weird on my computer.
Likewise, I thought the same thing. Yes.
Okay.
I can. Okay, we're okay. I don't know how to mute. There should be a button
Fine.
there, a little picture of a microphone, Mom, in the bottom left corner that you can click that says unmute. So
It's
these
your
are
mom, it's fine.
okay. So these are text messages that I've received and saved in my inbox just because I find them so hilarious. This first one is one that I've received that says, "We have forwarded you your return," and then it gives you a link. The second one is a supposedly a text from Rogers with a bunch of codes and numbers saying that there was a bill error and I need to accept my amount back. And then the third one says, "Dear
using
citizen,
COVID.
here's your pandemic benefit support payment for this period." So the third one I find is interesting just because
Yeah.
they are
Well-
using COVID-19 and the pandemic to really try and get people to click on this link. They know that people are struggling financially and they think, well, if we call them a citizen, they might think that we're the government. So here's your pandemic support payment. So obviously anybody who's struggling with money is going to click it, even though
Sure.
the link doesn't even look like a link.
But you would, yeah, that's easily takes you in.
I know the second one, I actually had, I sometimes respond just because I'm trying to be funny. I'll say, "Oh, thank you so much. I really needed the money," and I'll click, or I'll say something silly backwards. But you don't have to do that. I would just ignore them altogether. And it was probably wrong of me to respond back to the text messages because they then signal, it then signals to them that you're somebody who might fall for it. So
Yeah.
I know with phishing phone calls is a big one. If you answer the phone call, even if you're just answering it to hang up, so even if you're planning on just hanging up and answering and hang up so it stops calling, it triggers the way that they're tracking things, and it thinks, well, because you answered it, you're more likely to fall for it, so they'll call you even more then.
I've been having a lot of Asian ones call. I picked it up once and then I thought it was funny. And now, I don't, there was a call this morning. I don't answer anything anymore.
I don't answer anything, even from Kingston, if it doesn't have it, if I don't know recognize the number, because a lot of these scammers will steal phone numbers from other people. They actually have a software that steals phone numbers and then uses them as a facade to text you. So if you call the number back,
I got one this morning.
Yeah, if you call the number back, you'll get the actual person who owns the phone number, but they didn't call you. They had their number stolen. So Yeah.
I sometimes answer even if I don't I mean, I don't have memorized everybody's phone numbers. So sometimes I will answer and then slam it down, which doesn't do any good, really.
Well, even if I don't know who it is, I figure, well, if they'll leave a voicemail if they actually need
Yeah,
me for
Right.
true.
something.
That's why I've done
And I get a lot of phone calls from fake numbers from Stittsville. It'll show up Martintown or something, not Martintown, but what's the town, a city in Toronto, but random locations, and it doesn't give you the person's ID. It just says the location, and that's when I know to just ignore it.
that. Mhm.
Yes, the voicemails, you can usually tell on the voicemail which ones are scams because they're just repeating numbers over and over again, or telling you that you're going to get arrested if you don't call them back.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
gonna-
I've had that one,
Yeah.
That's common.
That's definitely a common Kingston one. And there are some Kingston ones that I can definitely go over afterwards that are more popular in the area, in Ontario as well, that the
Those are
police
from
have
Kingston?
reported. So I think that's it for phishing scams. I just want to send a reminder that if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yes, right.
If a login screen pops up, don't fill in your information and instead cancel it and decide to log in from another screen from your browser instead. And don't click things out of curiosity, as it signals to them that you're a
Oh, that's a
likely
good point.
prey.
Good point.
Preventing phishing phone scams. Number one, never give out your personal information on an incoming call. So a lot of the times you'll get a phone call telling you that it's your bank and they need your information and they need you
Yeah.
to confirm your information first. So they'll say, now give me your social insurance number or give me your credit card number. And some people who don't realize that it's not the bank calling might hand it over thinking that they're just confirming their identity when it's actually being stolen.
Yeah.
You can double check the contact details from a verified source. So look at the phone number that's calling you. Is it the same number that's on the back of the card? Or is it even coming from Canada? Because if your bank is calling you, it's likely going to be calling from Canada.
Mhm.
And hang up and call the company back from a number on the back of the card directory if you do feel like it's not a phone call coming from where you think it is. I know a big one in Kingston is the CRA who calls.
Oh, yeah,
or
that's big in
claim to-
Kelowna too.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're claiming to be from the CRA, but the CRA would never call you asking you for your social insurance number and your
No,
credit card
not ever.
information or anything like that. And no one would ever call you telling you to pay debt, because a lot of the times they're claiming that you owe them a debt. None of them are ever going to call asking you for your information or asking you to pay your debt with a gift card or Bitcoin, which
No.
I'll get into later.
Mm.
I've accidentally given out my information. Now what? So the first thing that you want to do is contact your bank or financial institution to let them know that you accidentally gave your credit card number over so they can put a hold on your account. Contact the police, especially if you have sent money to somebody unknowingly that it was a scam. Report to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. Do a scan of your computer for malicious software. So if you have antivirus or anything on your computer, which you should, definitely do a scan and update your computer as well. By keeping your phone and your computer updated, it
Yeah.
actually makes sure that you have all the security measures put in place that they have.
I'm probably
Especially
not.
with the Apple iPhone. I know that there was a lot of news going out over the last couple of days, like of them urging people with the iPhone to update it to the latest version because
Yeah. There was.
there's a vulnerability right now where people are hacking. This company from Russia and a few other ones are hacking into iPhones without even having to do anything. They can just choose an iPhone and they have access to it. So it's pretty scary.
Her notes are good too.
Mhm.
And then if anything does happen, monitor your credit and banking statements for suspicious activity.
Kimberly, it's Linda Ann. I do monitor what's been taken out because tapping everything and all the stuff that you subscribe to, it's sometimes, anyway, I found two different types of people using my credit card. One was for a $200 DoorDash order in Toronto, and the other one was for a couple $100 for pizza delivery or Pizza Hut in Saint Jerome, Quebec. Neither of those places I have been to since COVID. So I called a credit card company right away, and you get the money back.
You do, yeah.
And then obviously you change your credit card. And then you have to remember who all has it, but it's good to check that.
It's true
I
for
had-
sure.
I was a
Go ahead.
victim. This is Cynthia here. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
I think it was early in 2020, just as we were in the lockdown, I went to update my GPS for my car. And I tried to go in, I went in and plugged everything in, and it kept coming up that I couldn't go through. So then after about the second try, the service center came on and said, we're GPS service center. It looks like you're having a hard time getting in to update my maps. And I said, yes. And they said, well, look, we're a subsidiary of the GPS, this particular GPS. And it looks like you have a lot of gunk on your computer. We can clean it up for you. Do you want to do that? And I was like, I said, yes. And then one of my roommate's boyfriends was here, and he freaked out because they're scamming you, and they put a whole lot of nasty stuff on my computer. And so I was in panic. I had to call up the banks. I changed every password I had. I was shaking. That's how scared I was.
Yeah.
But the joke was on them because I had no money anyway. But and the buggers, what they said, well, we will give you, we will look after you, clean up, monitor your computer all 24/7. We can give you this a lifetime for 300 and something. I just laughed at them. And then they said, okay, they got it down to, I think it was $40 or $30 or something. And that was part of the cleanup. And I thought, oh, okay. So I did. And they extracted that much money out of me. So this dear friend, he cleaned up the computer, and it took him forever. He was working away on it, but it was something he needed. It was, he was bored during the COVID, and it was really good for him to do this. And anyway, so that was like 220. This year, about a month ago, I've received at least half a dozen calls from them saying, oh, we're sorry to inform you that we're no longer able to honor our forever contract with you, and we're going to send you back $300. We need to get into your computer, or 300. And I said, I didn't even pay 300. So I started to play with them a bit. I was getting a little bored at this point. And I said, well, I didn't have 300. It was such and such. And they said, well, we need to get into your computer. They kept pressing the need to get into my computer. So then I said, I don't lie, but I did in this case. I said, oh, my computer's not working. I'm sorry, I can't get on it. And we went like this. But eventually they kept calling me up, and sometimes they would just hang up on me when I said, I don't have a computer. I'm not going to have one for several months. But that's how tricky they were with me. And when you look back at it, you go, oh, duh, that was pretty dumb of me to do that. But sometimes they're so sophisticated. Anyway, that's my story.
Were you able to report that to either the fraud center or to the police?
No, I didn't. I was just so thankful. I seriously, Kimberly, I was shaking. My fingers were shaking. I was shaking, and I was all upset about it. And I didn't. I was just so glad to be able to they didn't take anything out of my account. Once again, they would have been pretty disappointed. But they did get the money that I paid them. I think it was around $30-some or something.
I think definitely for every situation of fraud or being scammed, letting someone know about it is definitely the first step, because then it helps keep them from possibly doing it to somebody else. Because the Kingston police will alert the public when they have instances of scams or frauds like that, to let them know.
Oh, that's why you know that.
Yeah. So
Yes.
And definitely in that situation, you probably felt like something was wrong. And listening to your gut is definitely a huge one about scams. Like if something feels off, I would definitely try my best not to fall for things like that. A lot of the times, I've actually seen where a pop-up will show up on the screen saying your computer's been, there's something up with your computer, it needs to be updated right now, or your computer's at risk, there's a ransomware something on your computer. So that you think that something's wrong with your computer, so you click the link and order something, and then they're actually getting access to your computer to do the things that they said were wrong with it in the first place. And they'll even pay for ads.
I've
A
never
lot of the
had-
time on Google, they'll pay for ads to show up in your
Yes.
browser that say that there's something
your
wrong, and
computer.
never ever click on an ad that says that, because it's
Yeah.
just,
Remote,
no,
maybe?
it's not
Remote,
That's
real.
pretty cool. Yeah,
It's very cool.
Mhm.
It's eerily cool.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so if are there any other questions about phishing scams? Before I move on to shopping scams? Okay, so shopping scams are when scammers create an online shopping website or application that has a similar look and feel to a genuine retailer, but under an intentionally misleading, legitimate sounding name. These websites are more often than not just a front to steal your credit card details and sensitive personal information. And some of them are real sites, like big sites that are foreign, such as Wish and stuff like that, where there's a lot of more vulnerability that other companies come in and steal the information from them because they don't have as many security measures put in place. Ways to trigger whether or not a site is a shopping scam. Their discounts are too cheap. They have a poor design of a website, and the English used on their website is poor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The domain name doesn't add up.
Mhm.
The site hasn't been around for very long, so usually if it's brand new, it's more likely that there might be something up with it. I usually like to go to the About Us page or the Contact Us page and see if they have information about where they're located. So are they located in Toronto? Do they have a head office that you can see? I have found shopping scam websites in the past that say that they sell makeup or something like that. But then when you go to the About Us page, it's actually the About Us information for a whole other business that they've just copied and pasted in there to kind of fill in the gap.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
kind of
Yeah.
interesting. So it says they're selling jeans, so they're a jean company, but then when you go to their stock, it's ornaments or Halloween decorations. So it doesn't really add up. So how you can really figure it out is you can go and check reviews. So if you think, oh, this website isn't legitimate, you can just Google it. A lot of the time, everybody else has also done the same thing or left poor reviews on their Google business or anything like that. And if they don't have options to pay with credit, debit, and they want you to pay with Bitcoin, that's definitely a red flag. Social media fraud. So this is a big one. So on Facebook, there are actually 175 million logins every day.
Oh,
So it's definitely a huge prey area for scammers to find and scam
Chain
people.
letters. I know so many people who do these chain letters.
The methods we've been using to protect our data are definitely outdated. Chain letters for sure are definitely when someone sends you a letter via Facebook Messenger saying you can, if you don't click this link or do this quiz, then you're gonna have 10 years bad luck or something like that. It's one thing to send maybe a GIF or a picture in chat at Christmas or something to everybody, but it's different when it's when there's links in there that you can tell might not be leading you to something that it says it's leading you to.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
I think chain letters usually forward to all your friends if you care about this.
Mhm.
What happens with chain letters? That's
Well, because there
fraudulent.
might be that a link in them or something.
Oh,
that's
like in it.
fraudulent.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
otherwise they're just annoying. Okay.
So hidden charges are annoying too. That's true. Hidden charges is when, say, something like you're doing a quiz and it brings you to another app saying which character of Game of Thrones are you or something like that. So it takes you to another app to fill out this quiz, and you don't even really have a quiz. It just the thing kind of turns for a bit and then it tells you which character you are. Some of these quizzes are legit, but some of them actually have these hidden charges linked to them that will actually secretly subscribe you to a service. So instead of just doing the quiz, you're being subscribed to their service that's going to be taking $10 out of your bank account every month. And you're not even aware of it. So that's what hidden charges are. Beware of scams such as coupons and promotions just distributed through sites other than the official retailer. So if someone shares a Walmart coupon with you that you can tell hasn't come from Walmart themselves, and it says something like, everybody who clicks this link, the first 200 people that click this link will get a coupon for $200 to Walmart. It's probably not true. It's likely not true. And then by clicking the link, you've then led them into possibly getting into your account.
How would
Um,
they though, Kimberly, get into your bank account?
Not into your bank account unless they figure out your password, but they get access to your Facebook. So somehow, I don't know the specifics, but somehow along the way, by opening that link, you've then somehow given them permission into your Facebook, and that's when they can share as you to all your friends. So even if
Oh,
you're getting a
pretend you-
coupon, say you
Oh.
opened up the link thinking that you were getting a $200 coupon, you opened it, you didn't actually get a coupon, but now they've gained access to your Facebook and they're going to share that same link, which was shared to you by your friend without them knowing. And then they're going to share that with all your friends and see if they can find 1 or 2 people that are going to click that and keep that going.
Ah, right, okay.
So it's actually coming from one of the friends on your friend list, but that friend doesn't know that they're sending all these links
Right.
to their friends list because
Right.
they just thought that they were opening up a link that was giving them a coupon.
Yeah, those.
So having suspicious accounts, definitely going through your friends list every now and then is a good idea. Because having suspicious accounts on your Facebook that have been compromised, and say the person lost access to their Facebook because it was compromised, someone hacked into it and made a new Facebook, but you still have their old Facebook on your friends list, it actually exposes you to more social media scams. And it will actually tell accounts, so even benign accounts, yeah, that have been hijacked or sold to scammers, you should definitely go through your friends list and find these ones. A lot of the time, I've actually gone back into my friends list and seen friends that have my picture or have their picture, but it's no longer them. So they've changed the name into something in Arabic or Turkish or something.
Oh,
and it's-
really?
Yeah. So definitely going back into your friends list is a great idea to
Hmm.
make sure that those names still don't have access to everything you're sharing on Facebook, right?
So cancel your friends.
Yeah. So fake giveaways are another one. This is when, say you've entered a contest, a legitimate company has posted a contest on Facebook. And if you comment and tag 10 friends, you are entered into their contest. So this is a legitimate contest, but because they're sharing this post publicly, the scammers are finding these posts, and they're actually doing an amazing job of it lately, of finding these social media giveaways and then messaging everybody who's commented on it and telling them that they've won. So they make another Facebook group that's the same name as the business the actual business who is holding the contest. They make another business name that's close but not the same, so it's like one letter off, and then they add everybody and then send you messages saying you've won. And they tell you that you've won, but you have to send them Bitcoin first or send them money first, and then they'll trade it with you with the biggest sum of money or something like that. You can usually tell when these ones are fake because if you go to look at their profile,
Barely.
you can see that they have absolutely no followers or if only a few followers, and that their name is different or their page is brand
Kimberly,
new.
Kimberly, are you going to talk about what Bitcoin is at some point? I thought I
Yes.
saw it in here. Good.
Yes,
Thank you.
I do. So I'll let you know that Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. So it's a type of currency that's online that is a lot easier to share and send. And it had a lot more potential back in like the early 2000s, but because a lot of scammers were using it, it's actually lost a little traction now because of it. But I'll get into that later. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Good. Thanks.
Okay. And then hidden URLs is again what I have here. A hidden URL is if it's someone sending you a little bit of a link. Say they're sharing you a post and they say, "Is this a picture of you?" And it's your friend sending it to you, and then it's a link, and you're thinking, "Is it a picture of me?" So you go and you click on the link, and that's when they've gained access to your Facebook.
I get a lot of those.
I had one of those yesterday.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah, they suck.
Letters. Yeah.
And sometimes that's the one that you click on it because you think, well, this is my friend sharing it with me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I really want to get into Facebook.
Friend would never, you say I would never talk like that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, but sometimes you can't tell when it's your friend. You can think they won't talk like that, but if they're only sharing a few letters, like, is this a picture of you? It's hard to really tell. So I'd like to get into Facebook cloning, 'cause
really
I
well.
think this is a huge one right now. So Facebook cloning is when a
that's right.
scammer steals your name and picture, creates a new profile, and then adds all your friends. And this is done, I think we've all seen it once or twice, where you have a family member who suddenly adds you again. And you're curious whether or not it's them, whether or not maybe they lost their password and they made a new Facebook account. But this is definitely called Facebook cloning, and it is preventable actually. And most cases of Facebook cloning is when you have your friends list public on your profile. So I am going to take a second, just hopefully I can show everybody how to make their Facebook friends list not public. Does everybody here have theirs public, or is it private?
I think I'm private.
I think I'm
Mine's
private.
private.
No, I think I'm
Private.
If you click on your profile, you can usually tell what people who aren't your friends can see when they're coming to your page. If mine will load. Doesn't want to load. That's great.
You've been hacked.
Oh no. I think there's just so much
Kimberly,
going on.
is there any way to keep, when I go on my Facebook, there's a whole list of, like, it never ends, it goes on to infinity, of people that are posted. I don't know these people. Is there any way to prevent that?
Are you following them? You don't know any of them? There is a
No.
way that if you don't know
But they
who they
come
are,
up and they,
Are you on your homepage?
so this is I can definitely help you with that, Cynthia, or I can try to, or even afterwards, if you send me a message, I can try and figure that out for you. I feel like you can even just
okay,
unblock
after
them.
this, I may gain a little more courage to go in
Okay.
and take a look.
Sounds good. So this is my profile, and when I can actually see how everybody else is viewing my profile, or I thought I could. I don't know what happened to the page, where you can actually click and choose to see it as the public. So if you click those three dots and click view as, it'll actually show you what people
Okay.
who look you up on Facebook will see. So this is what somebody who doesn't know me, doesn't know any of my friends, or they might know my friends, but doesn't know who, they don't have me on Facebook. This is what they see when they look me up on Facebook. They see my business, my education, and where I live, because I have that as public. And then my computer is being super slow because of Zoom. It'll show like public posts that I've made in the past, that I've shared. None of them have I try not to have any that have any information about me that people could steal or use against me. But a lot of the time that's what they see. So here you can see that my friends are not here. It's not showing any of my friends at all. And that's how you can tell if you have it turned off. But to actually turn it off, if you go to into your account and go to settings and privacy.
There you go.
And then go to settings. Yes, I want to. If you go to security and login.
Sorry,
can
Kimberly, the advantage of hiding your friends to the public is that then people can't steal your profile and add all your friends, or?
Yes, exactly. So they can still steal your picture and name, because it's so easy to do that unless you hide your picture as well. But they can't then go and try to add all your friends because they don't know who they are.
Okay.
And this is a huge one. This is how they do it. Oh, so that's the wrong one.
So hiding my friends is like I'm just realizing they're not hidden.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So hiding the friends is a huge one. I can't see where it is to turn them off.
And what else is funny, and some of you may be looking at your own profiles now, is like, obviously I had my profile public back in 2016 and prior. So that feed, those things are still up here as available to see. Is that correct?
Exactly. And because it was public back in 2016, and maybe you changed your privacy since then, all that stuff from 2016 is now showing up near the top of your profile, because that's what's been public on your page.
Exactly. It's sort of what's happening. I mean, I've changed my profile picture, which is public. Is that normal?
Usually the
Okay.
profile picture is public.
Public. Yeah, so I've changed that since, so that sort of ends up in the feed first. But once we get through all those profile picture changes, then it is more personal posts, which are interesting because I didn't realize they were on there.
Yeah,
so
and
some you find stuff that you didn't realize just by browsing the other view.
And those personal posts, that all that
Really?
personal information is a way for potential scammers to possibly get into your account or steal your identity. So posts that show where you live, pictures that show what the inside of your house, even in some instances, could lead to potential theft. Maybe posts that say that you're going on vacation. Can't wait to go on vacation to Mexico next week, but they know where you live.
Yeah.
Or they can see
Yeah.
the outside of your
Well,
street, or
when
they,
you're away.
yeah, so they could even use geotagging if they have that kind of
Yeah.
software on their computers to find out exactly where your house is, and they know no one's there, so they break in and steal all your stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so I think this is where it is. So you go to privacy, and then you can change in your activity. So who can see your future posts? Just your friends. How people find and contact you, who can see your friend requests. Oh, who can send you friend requests? Everybody, I have it set as. Who can see your friend list right here. So it says your friends control who can see their friendships on their own timeline. So someone might be able to see you on their friends lists. But if you change this to only me, that means only you can see your friends. Even my own friends on my list can't see my friends unless I think we have mutual friends in common. I think that's the only situation where it'll show. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm fine. I don't know.
I also have it so that no one can look me up through my phone number. So even if I have my phone number saved
Send you friends request.
in Facebook,
said-
only friends can look up my
Okay,
phone
that's-
number.
That's actually limited. She had it everyone. Who can see your friends list? Only friends who can look you up using email.
Probably change my Christmas profile
want to?
picture, shouldn't I?
That's okay. I still have one from last Halloween on mine, so.
Like Santa is in this picture. It's amazing.
So yeah, so that's that. I will come back to my Facebook in a bit to show multi-factor authentication to help people out. So next I will go back here and figure out how to get this to play again. And I think I'll go into oversharing because this is a huge one. Like I said a little bit about it just now, but sharing too much information on Facebook is a huge thing, or even on all social media. No information is safe. There is no anonymity online at all. Oversharing is not limited just to quizzes or trends. So a lot of the times people will post things on Facebook like answer all these questions about yourself. Or
Right.
get your kids to answer these questions about you because it's so much fun. And then the questions will include things like, what was your first dog's name? What was your first car name? A bunch of questions like that. And that's ways for them to possibly figure out what your passwords are, but also ways of proving that they can steal your identity then and make accounts in your name and prove that they're you because they have all this information about you.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so it's definitely not good to overshare, and it's not just limited to quizzes or trends. Posting publicly, like I said, about vacations, family, personal information. Say if you had a picture that had your credit card on the table without realizing, there's your credit card number right there. Surprising number of people post their phone numbers, home addresses, and more on social media.
Really?
And a lot of these
What'd she
networks encourage
Where's
us
their
to
home
fill
number?
out every possible field on our profiles, especially LinkedIn. That's a huge
Really?
one that asks you a lot of questions. And a lot of these questions are very sensitive, so it's hard to, you think you need to answer them all in order to have your Facebook account, but you don't really need to. Yeah, so I'll get into multi-factor authentication in a bit. That's just the multi-step login process. I don't know if everybody has that or not, but it's definitely a huge safety a way to keep your information safe. So next is fake debt scams, which is huge. This is like the CRA or anybody that calls you and they ask you for your name. And they start asking, a lot of the time they don't even know your name and they just say you owe this amount of money, and they figured it out along the way, and they have their processes of asking you questions that gain information about you. A lot of the times they'll pressure you, tell you that you have fake debt and say that if you don't pay it, they'll threaten you, or they'll use law enforcement or have you arrested, or you'll go to prison. So that's a huge one with that CRA one that was going around for a while. Things to know: don't pay any debt if you don't recognize the debt. If you know that you don't owe money to TELUS, don't pay that bill because you probably don't have it. Don't ever pay debt in Bitcoin. That's a huge red flag. And ask the caller for their name, company, street address, telephone number, and even their license number so that you can prove that they are who they say they are. And a lot of the time, this is when they'll just hang up. And then you know for sure that they're definitely not who they say they are. So there's also emergency scams, which is where someone calls you claiming to be maybe a grandchild, a cousin, or somebody, but they don't give their names. They call you and say, hey, Grandma, I need money now. And you've got maybe 8 grandchildren, so you don't know which one's calling you, but I don't know, you just kind of get swiped into the motion of it being an emergency. And a lot of times there's a lot of scams like this that you end up losing quite a bit of money because of it. So anyone can be targeted by the emergency scams, but often they prey on seniors. Con artists can make stories sound very credible.
Yeah.
These grandchildren that call you asking for money, they'll tell you, please don't tell my parents, please keep this a secret. I don't want my parents to find out. So then you send the money, sometimes even by Bitcoin a lot of the time. Or they want gift cards sent to them instead of money sent by e-transfer, which is what a lot of the times what a normal case would be. In 2016, over 800 Canadians fell victim to the grandparent scam, is what it's called, and lost more than $1 million in total.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So if somebody calls you claiming to be your grandchild or your cousin or your friend, ask them what their name is, and maybe even just hang up accidentally and then call them back and ask them if they just called you looking for money. And then romance scams. I know Linda Ann was looking forward to this one. So romance scams are when you're on dating sites and people make fake profiles of people who you might be interested in, and then they send you messages and on social media or through the dating apps, and they're not who they say they are. You can usually tell when you're being scammed.
She's muted. We're not hearing you.
Kimberly, I think you're
No.
muted.
And I didn't mute her.
No.
There. Kimberly, oh, we can't hear you.
Can you see her, Lindsay?
No.
She's been scammed.
I don't even know what. I wouldn't even know what a dating site looks like. Although I was curious what they do.
A long time ago, I saw Sabina on a dating site.
Yeah.
So I saw a little bit of it, and I'm sure they changed a whole lot. You know.
Oh, Kimberly.
Uh-oh.
No, no. I wonder
She's
what
not
happened.
hearing either. Yeah. She's not hearing as well as somebody is interrupting her because she's giving away
Secrets.
secrets. Yeah.
Lindsay, can you text
I
Kimberly?
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
did.
That'd be faster than an email.
I did text her.
She's doing a good job.
She's
I'm
doing a
proud
great
of-
job.
Really proud of
Really,
her.
Great job.
yeah.
Yes,
Lindsay, do you know?
I'm gaining a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay,
She's
do you
on
know if there's
here.
an evaluation that she wants us to fill out after? Do you know if that's
I
part of the
believe there
CAC?
is. I believe there is, yeah.
So-
Good.
But I can see her, yeah, see, like, she can hear us.
She can?
Well, she's unsharing her screen right now. I can see her, that's her doing stuff.
Okay.
Huh. So strange. Kimberly, the host, says she's on. We just can't hear you or see you. I can hear the birds at your house though, Linda Ann.
Can you hear me now?
And
Wow.
There she is.
Are we
There you
good?
go.
Okay,
Yay.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Kimberly,
Don't
the
worry,
infamous
what?
line of 2020, 2021. Can you hear me now?
Right? I'm sorry. I'm really
No,
sorry.
it's good.
No. Hey,
I don't-
we're
I
glad
think
to
it
have you
just-
back.
There we go.
We
Says I
got, we
have
thought a
people-
scammer got to you.
No, I have people in my waiting room, it says. I feel bad. I don't know who they are. I'll admit
Oh.
them.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go back then. Where did I lose everybody?
Romance scams.
So you didn't hear any of it?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, a
A
little
little
bit.
tiny
A
bit.
tiny bit, yeah.
I thought it got really quiet. I could hear Linda Ann laughing, and then all of a sudden everybody went quiet, and then I got Lindsay's message saying that nobody can hear me.
Mhm.
Sounds like my a day in the life of being a middle child. So I'll start over again for romance scams. I don't know if I'll just start over just because I don't know where everybody was. So it's when you're on a dating site, on a romance site, say Plenty of Fish or Tinder, Bumble, those kind of sites, and then you have fake profiles. There's a lot of fake profiles on these sites that will
That's an interesting-
message people in the hopes
a
that
dating
they
site.
will start a connection and then in the near future, try and steal money from you, get you to send them money. It's actually legal. Not the scams themselves aren't legal, but the fake profiles on these sites are legal. You can report them.
Illegal?
They're legal, but the
Oh.
sites don't. A lot of the times the sites don't want them, but there's nothing they can do because it is legal. So they will report them and delete them and block them if they don't want them on there. But I don't know, there's this whole legal jumble about it. But yeah, when I was in my early 20s, I actually worked for a dating site that had fake profiles, and my job was creating these fake profiles back in the day. So I know that it's legal. But these ones weren't to scam people. These profiles weren't to scam people. They were actually to help build the site up, to make it look like there was attractive people on the site to try and get other people to join.
Oh, I
To get
see.
traction. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So triggers that you're part of being scammed on these sites is that the people are located far, far away. They're in other countries and somehow they've showed up. They'll even have like a Kingston address and they'll use that to make the profile saying they're in Kingston, but then when they start talking to you, they'll say, oh, they're actually visiting their parents in Russia or something like that. Their profile seems too good to be true. So they're using pictures of very good looking people. There's even instances where because these people, a lot of them are located in other countries far away, they might not even realize that the picture they're using is, say, a picture of Chris Hemsworth. They don't realize this. They just found the picture of a good looking guy on Google and posted that. So there's been instances where you can recognize the person in the picture and say that, and that you know it's not them, right? If the relationship moves too fast, that's a trigger that you could be being scammed. If they keep making promises that they're going to visit, but then they break those promises, and then eventually they're going to claim that they need money from you. Say they're stuck in Toronto and they need to get back to their kids and they need some money. And then they'll ask for specific payment methods such as gift cards or Bitcoin, because these are types of currency that are hard to track afterwards. And then once they get the money from you, they suddenly disappear, especially when it's a large amount of money. And but sometimes they'll actually continue to keep on scamming somebody if they know that that person's vulnerable. Say if it's a lonely person that doesn't have any friends or anything, and they'll just keep continuing to scam them out of money because this person is so trusting that they've found someone that they love. So that happens quite a bit. Any questions about romance scams?
Did you say Bumble was really one of the sites?
Bumble's a site that does have fake
For
profiles.
dating?
They all have fake profiles. It just doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to scam you.
It's just an odd name for romance.
It is, yeah. Talk about branding.
Okay, I'll go on to the next one. So this is where I get into the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin and is a type of cryptocurrency, but there's more than one that just used online. I think it started maybe in the early 2000s, and it was big for a while. And you might know Bitcoin because there was a time when it was worth almost nothing. And then over the past maybe 5-10 years, they were worth maybe I think they were worth about $1 million there for a while, the Bitcoin stock, not the Bitcoins themselves. So a lot of people gained a lot of money. I actually know a couple of people personally that actually made a lot of money from it, but by scammers themselves and cyber criminals, it's a huge way of getting money from people without being tracked. So it's actually a very decentralized type of, not banking, but exchange of money. It allows you to be in full control of your investments and everything like that. However, it also makes it harder to line it up and use proper regulatory and law enforcement when something goes wrong. If scammers manage to trick you into making mistakes while using Bitcoin, they may end up stealing much more than that. And then there's virtually nothing that you can do to recover your Bitcoin after it's been stolen. And they use
Kimberly,
methods such, yep, go ahead.
Sorry, how does one get Bitcoin in the beginning? I mean, I assume you don't use real currency to purchase it.
You do. You exchange it.
Oh, you do?
Just as you would
Okay.
any other type of currency.
Okay, yeah, all right, that's fine, thank you.
You're welcome. So that I didn't really want to go too deep into Bitcoin just because I don't know that much about it. But it's just, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that if someone's asking you to pay a bill in Bitcoin or anything like that, it's almost definitely a scam. No phone companies, no banking, even rent. No real people want to get paid in Bitcoin.
No.
Yeah. And I'm almost finished what I have set up. I just want to give a few more tips on tracking your digital footprint and making sure that none of your information is being left behind. And then a few things that you can do to make sure that your information is safe online. So your digital footprint is, as you're going through applications, as you're on websites or doing things like that, you're actually leaving a trail of your information. So if you fill out, say, a form on one website, that information will actually follow you wherever you go online until you delete that trail. So your digital footprint is just all the information that you're leaving online. If you're no longer using apps you've deleted, you can go back and ensure that you've actually deactivated and deleted your accounts from these apps, because that will actually will keep your digital footprint online if you just deleted an app instead of actually deleting your account. And this goes for online dating sites as well. Say you met somebody and you deleted your app, but you didn't actually delete your account, your profile's still there, and people could be stealing your pictures, your age, your location, and stuff like that. Delete your cookies as often as you can. Your cookies are
Where do you do that, Kimberly?
yeah. So your cookies you can delete by going to, if you're in Chrome, I'm not sure about anywhere else, but if you're in Chrome, you can go to the 3 dots and go to, I think, settings. And then it'll bring you to another page. And then if you go to autofill, you can actually see an autofill. You can actually erase because a lot of the times you can save addresses and passwords and payments. I don't do it, even though Google is a pretty trustworthy one. I don't want to do that. But here is clear browsing data. So if you click that, you can actually clear your history, your browsing history, your cookies and other data that's been saved on websites, and then images and files. and then clear that.
Is
It'll
this on a
actually-
phone that is
You
this
can
on
do
a
it on your
phone
phone too, yeah.
or
or
your
your
iPad? I
computer.
don't.
Any device that you have, you can, even if you don't know how to do it, you can just Google how to delete cookies from whichever browser you're using. So if
Okay.
Yeah.
if you're on your
okay.
phone and you're using Safari, there is a way to delete that. I shouldn't have clicked this now because now it's trying to delete it all and it's probably going to keep me there for a while, but I'm going to go back. So and unsubscribe yourself from mailing lists that you don't care about anymore. So all those emails that are that you're getting in your junk folder or your promotions folder on Gmail, even if you're not looking at them anymore, and they are annoying because they're filling up your account, but all that data is actually being saved somewhere on their websites. So by unsubscribing and deleting that information, you're actually, you're cleaning up your inbox and making sure you're not getting bombarded with emails from companies that you don't want to be bombarded by anymore, but you're also keeping your digital footprint as small as possible.
Mhm.
Kimberly, I
Yeah.
have a question.
Sure.
Say you're on Facebook and like an ad comes up, not an ad, but some information comes up to sign a petition against, I don't know, slaughtering dogs or something. We'll put this. And you sign up and you put your name and everything else. How secure is that?
If you know that it's coming from a legitimate place, and you know it's being used for a good purpose, then you can do that if you wanted to fill out that petition. But that information, they have that then, right? And unless you read there, I don't know about if there'll be fine print or anything like that, but a lot of the times in the fine print of even the apps that you download, it says that they can sell your information to other apps. Or they can sell your data to other companies. And it'll actually say that when you're making your account and when you check the box that says you've read the privacy agreement, but most of us actually don't read it. We just check that we have. A lot of the times in that space,
you're-
it'll say that what they're allowed to do with your information.
Maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I want to give just a couple tips on how to keep your information safe online. Multi-factor authentication is a huge one,
I think that does affect.
and password managers.
that you do.
So the most popular password in 2020
that's
was
good.
12345.
Yeah.
With so many apps on our phones and accounts to log
Right.
into, choosing to use the same password across multiple platforms becomes a way to keep it simple. Although it makes our lives a little easier, it also opens up the opportunity for cyber criminals and unauthorized users, yes, even your own friends and family,
Light.
who gain access to the password of one account to get into all of them. So if you have a password for one and say they stole your password, how I did it with the Outlook, the fake Outlook email that I mentioned earlier, they can then sign in and change and gain access to your billing information, so that if any money was sent to you, it's actually going to them instead. So these fake websites can do that, and then they can actually even get into your PayPal account if you have a PayPal account and you have the same password, and stuff like that. So that's why having multi-factor authentication can be a huge savior, as well as password managers. Attackers use automated tools to test combinations of keywords, things you might have happily disclosed in your social media profiles, to rapidly guess thousands of combinations of passwords within a few seconds. Password managers are applications that you can download onto your phone or device that actually create a password for you. So they remove the need to tattoo your passwords to your forearm and provide users with a safe, automatically generated and remembered password that's unique and almost unguessable by anyone. So password managers are actually probably the safest way to generate and manage your passwords. They're safer than just trying to memorize passwords yourself. And they actually have this setting called zero knowledge, so that if a hacker does get into these password manager apps, they don't actually gain access to your passwords because they're actually kept separate from the data of the app itself.
What's a password manager app?
Yeah, so you can download it onto, you can actually download it onto your phone. There's some that are very reputable. On mine, I have an app called Dashlane. And it actually creates a password for you. So instead of you using a password that's just maybe your child's name and the year you were born, which is so guessable, It actually creates one, almost like a Wi-Fi password that's like a bunch of numbers and letters, and it stores it in the app. So then when you go to sign into Facebook, it automatically fills it in from the information saved in the password manager app.
Oh,
Dash
already on.
Lane?
okay.
Mine's called Dashlane, yeah. But there are other ones as well that you can use.
And do they create a different password every time?
Nope, it's the same password. It's just that you don't have to remember it then.
Oh, that'd be
Um,
nice.
Yeah, and it keeps it
Like
safe
that.
because, yeah.
And it's safe
Well, that's
to
a really
use
good
it on multiple
like that.
accounts.
They don't use the same password for each account. It actually creates a new one for every different
Okay.
account. So I know for myself, I always forget my passwords. I've always been horrible for this. I even actually
Yeah.
would forget my locker combination in high school every time there was a holiday when I came back. That's how bad I was at remembering passwords.
Mhm.
And so I've been using the same 2 password combinations for the past since the Facebook began. So like maybe 15 years or something like that. So it's been, I know it's not good because there's a huge opportunity there for somebody has my Facebook password, they can then get into my Gmail. But luckily I have multi-factor authentication set up. So I wanted to show how to set multi-factor authentication up
Good.
onto your computer or onto your
Right.
Facebook account. Oh, it logged me out.
Good.
No. Well, that sucks. Hopefully when I log myself in now that I don't remember my password. Okay.
It's a nice photo of you.
But now I'm afraid when I type my password, it's gonna write it there. Everybody close your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good, it's not. Thank goodness. The smart computer. There we go. Yes.
So we
Well,
go
those-
to our homepage.
Yes, so I'm gonna take you to your homepage, and then if you click the down arrow and go back into settings and privacy, and go back to settings and go to security and login. So I'll let you know what multi-factor authentication is. It's kind of when you get that second step on your every time you log into a specific app. A lot of banking apps have it because they automatically want you to have that, so that when you log in, it sends a text to your phone that you then have to add in to actually log in. So then if somebody has your password, they can't actually log in because
Right.
they would need to have access to your phone. So you can use it here. It says 2-factor authentication, which is the same thing. So you can turn that on. So it'll actually send you
Is
a
that
code.
under password and security? I'm sorry to interrupt. Is that? Or where do you find that?
Oh, sorry. It's in security and login once you go to your settings.
Okay.
And then actually, and it'll only do it for unrecognizable devices or browsers. You can set it up for that way so that every time you're on your computer, it's not going to ask you for it every time you log in. But when you're logging in from a new device or browser, sometimes it'll still ask me if I've gone, say if I use someone else's computer to log into my Facebook and then try to log in again on my computer, then it'll ask me again. But yeah, you can edit that there, and then it'll give you the options to have it sent as a text message or as an app on your phone. And you can actually have
Which is
backups.
better?
I have the text message one just because it's faster, and my iPhone is set up so that it automatically fills it in when I get the text. So I don't have to go back to my messages and try and remember it. It just automatically fills it in for me, and then I click OK.
It'll pay though, right? If I put it in my name.
So that might be better. Do it on-
Oh, I see. Okay. So I put it in my name then, or in theirs?
In your name, they don't have ID.
I can hear you, Mom.
Sorry.
I
Hang
thought
on
you were
again.
asking me a question.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
brother-
So yeah.
but-
So that's there. I don't know why it's not letting me go back to the other page. I was going to show a couple other things that you can do.
For somebody one by
I'll
one.
just go
it
back
goes
this
through.
way.
Yeah.
And then you can actually see who's logged into your computer as well. So right here, I actually have it showing who's logged in. So I know that that's my computer and this is my phone. But if you go to see more, you might be able to see what other devices have had access to your
You as well to her.
see here it says Gatineau, Quebec tried to log in 20 hours ago. I don't know what that is, but it's probably nothing. I don't know why that did that, but okay. That has me questioning the safety of that, but
We got some already, that's it?
yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think it just went to sleep.
Right, okay.
I can also show how to do it on Gmail as well, if everybody has a Gmail account, because it's another great spot to put it, because Google Mail is actually has their own little safety measure put in place that they'll actually do a check on your account, where they'll even compare your password to all your other accounts with their own.
Oh, I
don't know-
love that.
I don't know what
Oh.
software
I'd like
they
to hire
use,
you
but
just-
Yeah, I know. I'd like to hire you too.
Just for one-on-one.
sure, $50 an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can show Gmail quick too, just because, and all emails,
Yes.
if you don't have Gmail, it's all of them have the same sort of thing. So if I go into my Gmail settings, I'm actually going to go here first. So if you go, when you're in Gmail, if you go up to these 9 little circles up in the corner next to my picture where it says Google Apps, I believe, and click on account, that's when it'll take you to this page. So if you go to security, that's where you can see all the access that everybody that's signed in to in recent activity, but you'll also see here the 2-step verification. So you can either choose your phone to sign in or 2-step verification, which I have off. So I'm going to click this arrow and get started. Keeps the bad guys out, it says. Hopefully it does. It wants me to log in. Why does everybody want me to log in? Everybody can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I got quiet there again, so I got scared. Perfect. So then it'll actually ask you for your phone number, what number you want to use, so that it sends you a text every time you sign into Gmail. So you can either choose whether it sends you a text message or a phone call with the code. So I chose a text, so now it wants to send me a text, and I'm going to put in the code that it sent me. And there, it's all turned on now. So now every time I log in, it'll send me a text to my phone. The only situation where you would not want this is if you don't have your phone with you and you're trying to log in. But I always have mine with me, and there are other situations where you can actually use backup codes as well, right here, where it'll give you 1 or 2 passcodes that you can keep with you.
No, I don't.
In the event that you don't have your phone with you. And of course, you can also use it'll actually,
Well, that's just-
you can
it'll
use
show you the
another
password
email
for
address or
that.
something like that instead.
Oh.
So that's that. I wanted to show, I think I'm done with my slides. I don't know how that I got through them so quickly.
This be easy for somebody.
But I wanted to show the Canadian fraud website, because this is in the event that you are a victim of fraud, this is where you would come to report it on the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center website. So there's just a section here where you can report, and actually there's a lot of resources here as well. If you want more information about how you can prevent fraud, as well as find out what recent frauds and scams are going around.
Really?
Any other questions?
Walgreens, yeah.
I think that's all I have now. Yeah, that's it.
Is that the password you've used?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That was great,
Kimberly, yeah, it's so great.
I hope so. Now I need to figure out how to stop sharing my screen.
Linda Ann, did you have another question?
I just want to
100 questions.
say a very scary thing I've learned. I went into my iPad, which is here, and I scroll down in settings to passwords, and then it has a list, if I log into with my code, of all the passwords I've ever used for anything. How
Yep.
vulnerable am I? Like, that's
It's in your
weird.
settings, right?
Correct.
If
Passwords,
somebody
and
did gain
then-
access to your phone, they could possibly get access to that as well.
Sure, they just do various combinations of numbers to get into my.
But they'd have to do it, they'd have to physically have your phone in order to do that. They couldn't hack in?
They could hack in as well, but a lot of it's very difficult to do that, except in certain, when they do find those vulnerabilities like they have with Apple recently, with that one software that could get in without needing anything. So that one's scary, but as long as you update.
I've got so many passwords saved. It's pages and pages alphabetically.
Mhm.
I better delete some of
I
them.
think better look at that,
I
yeah.
better look at that. I better hire her.
Mhm.
I
Thank
can
you.
also tell you how to turn off app tracking as well, if this is something that people would want to know about.
Oh, yeah?
Basically, it's when you're on one app, and you probably recognize it when you're on one app, or you've looked at websites, say for the Dyson vacuum, you look at the website, and then you go to another app or website and you're being advertised for whatever item you just looked at. That's called app
Okay.
tracking. And you can turn that off
Oh,
because
that would be lovely to turn
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, it would.
they do
would.
have access to data through that, right? They can gain access to your age, your gender, your location, and everything else through that.
Oh,
So how do you do that?
I
Settings
will
again, I
show
assume?
you. On Apple phones, if you go into your settings and then tap on your whatever app you want to turn it off, so that you can do it that way, where it's one app at a time. You can turn them off by going to settings and then scrolling down to the app you want to turn off and then clicking the allow tracking. Or you can go into
Okay.
settings and go, I had it here and I can't find it. Go to your settings and either tap to turn off the allow apps to request track. Feel like it should be here. They actually have a new setting now. Apple has a new setting where every new app that opens, it'll actually ask you if you want them to track you or not. And I always say no.
Okay.
I'm trying to find how to turn that off.
I can't even find my settings on my phone, which is weird.
It should be a little picture of a gear.
Yeah, but it's disappeared.
Is it, are you on a newer iPhone?
New to me, but
Because they have a new setting now where they turn everything into an app library instead of having it all on your home screen. So if you're
okay.
going to the right an extra time, there'll be an app library there, or you can swipe down and then there'll be a search bar and you can just write in settings. I have the option for turning them off, but yeah, if you scroll into settings and scroll down to where all your apps are, you can click on every one and just click and then turn it off. But it's just, I feel like it should be there, but.
Sorry, Kimberly, once I'm in settings, what do I go to?
You can either scroll down and turn each app off individually to stop tracking you, but there is another way to do it. So go to privacy with a little picture of a hand, and then you can turn off location services. I would turn that off. In some instances, turn off. That's where they can actually track your location. Certain apps they'll know exactly where you are, which is good in some situations. Say if you're using the Fitbit app, right? And they can track your location because they know how far you've walked or how many steps you've taken. So in some situations it's good, but.
You need it for maps, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and for maps, knowing and stuff like that. So that's why I choose, instead of turning it off, all of it off altogether, I'll just go down to each app because it's telling me that Airbnb has access to my location always. So I'm going to turn that off. Even Costco has the Costco app has access to my location.
Why would I want a calculator to track me?
I don't think the calculator's tracking you, but
it was turned on. Isn't that weird?
the health app is another good one that will track
Allow
you as
apps to
well.
request to track.
And then underneath
So
location services, you'll see where it says tracking, and that's where you can turn it off.
What is WW?
World Weight Watchers.
Who?
Weight Watchers.
Oh. Okay.
I'm dying right now.
I'm trying to whisper it.
Linda Ann. Like,
I think I read. Am I there?
I think I just had a conversation with somebody else about, I was like, he's so fit and like cute. You're like, well, it's way more.
So I've turned off my tracking for the calculator.
A good laugh for today.
Oh, golly, that's too
How
funny.
would that even work?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So yeah, I think that's everything that I had to cover. So we can definitely keep talking about it, or if there's any other questions. I do have a survey that I am going to send around afterwards to all the emails that signed up, just so that you can say good things about me.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
You did a fantastic job.
Thank you. My mouth is dry from talking so
want-
much.
Why don't you send one, give her your email so Anne wasn't formally registered, but you might as well have another from her.
Definitely, that would be great.
Or do you want to flip it to me?
Or I can send it to
Whichever
you
is-
too. Yeah,
yeah.
that's easier. So send me and I can't flip it if I have to fill it out.
I'll just add, if you send me
Oh,
her email, I'll add it to the list that
Do
gets
that,
sent.
because it'd be
Okay.
better for you.
Oh, for response, you mean? Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Great.
Thanks so much, Kimberly.
You're welcome.
Great job.
Really good job.
Really good job. We got so many notes here. We got homework to do.